Good morning. This is 17th April 2020. Management, Civil Engineering Construction Management, continuation of talk. Continuation of talk as daily we used to make it. And before that, let me go to tell you something about that. Actually, it's all. Let me just show something about that. That is some projects it says, it's written ethylene plant, a real view of some plant. It will give at night, you say illumination all over plant, thousands of lights on vessels carrying various structures, piping, steelwork, a big combination of, as it is a city, an industrial city. I show you many other of this. You can see this, one of its contents, components. Is a furnace. Cracking furnace. It is. I'll go to next one, that is this is a facility. You can see in this a kind of key plant, key like a process area, key plan of that, If you see this one, near sea is the sea here, and then this is an office area, administration area, and this is real key process area, chemical process area. This one. I'll show them only process plan. It's administration area other than process area, which is having many buildings, administration building, amenities building, some other structures, warehouses, all that. Then is process and electrical. You can see process area on left side, and then sea water basin, and many equipment, machines, sheds, and these all off-site utilities. exhaust from firing from exhaust is releasing flare from gases to weather. And then it's just a landscape of that area, administration area landscape, showing grass and showing everything. Finishing touch you may see. This is from Google, not taken from site. Same but little comprehensive. Little showing many other items with that. Process area with many other points, and you see around there all desert. You'll see a sea water basin here is. Then substation, and then this is LNG tank plant. You can see these circles or tanks. These are big tanks. These are, you can say, 80-meter diameter tanks. Diameter is 80 meters, LNG tanks. Height is more than 50 meters. And this is a kind of record center. This was somewhere in Qatar. A small but very important building. Now this is a shooting range, firing range. This is a range here. I'll show you this way better. Then there is another building in a city, congested area. It's very dim actually. I'll show some other, it's very dim. This also is very dim. I'll not show you, but I'll find it. I'll show something else, it's very dim. This is in Baghdad, a building constructed. Then it's another one actually in same. And then I'll show you some Using various plans, it's a PowerPoint show. I've included many drawings here, different kinds of drawings and photos. Architectural, structural, using sketches, elevations, up to parapet. You can say many details are here in general, structural details. Foundation beams, ground, basement, all. This is architectural elevations, windows, driveway, this is front, this is also front within the building. This is also same with different mode. And another elevation from remote is a close look. And in the internal you see is a balcony, internal balcony, and beams you can see. This is LED light internal view. Is also same internal view. Another internal view of main door. The staircase. This is also continuing. This basement. This is another elevation outside, front. This is inside at stair. Various elevations of balcony, internal. I'll try to show it once more. Well, it was interesting and I could not. Okay. So this was some photographs I tried to show for your refreshing. Now we are going to start project management. Project management, which is very beautiful discipline for everyone, because without this nothing is possible. It's nothing possible, and this is an expertise you may say, or experience you may say, or you may say without this you cannot move further. No way, you cannot move further, because this is very very important from every viewpoint. From engineer's viewpoint, I should say that we must understand what we are talking of. Is very important, because quality everywhere is very bad. I have discussed with many times, I have showed to you many times, quality is really bad in our country. And it's not that I am backbiting my country, I am telling you facts based on my records, my experiences. You can see what rubbish qualities are there. I've shown you many times. I feel shame on showing every time this rubbish quality in this country. I feel it to tell people what sort of quality we have. What sort of quality we have, I'll just show you in nutshell, not each. I've shown you many times what quality we have. You can understand from that. And that was the only reason I want to show you many plans, what should be done. All rubbish quality work. All rubbish quality work. I weep, actually my conscience weeps. My soul weeps when I see such plans, such rubbish works, when I see, I weep. I don't know if you will feel happy with that, seeing national wealth is being wasted, and they don't feel anything in wasting that, because they are great people. And project management is for using natural wealth to best of humanity, but it seems it doesn't work. Quality methods, quality management, quality control, project management, project control, management and relation to control, and control and relation to management. So many confusing terms, but ultimately it is project that requires to be delivered according to all documents. Documents means whatever technical and non-technical submissions or agreements. It doesn't matter only that you have a price, work must be done according to that, according to requirement. And there are institutions and bodies that support how to management, they guide us. But question is not institutions here, question is how much we do. As a person, how much you learn. As a person, what is your commitment? As a person, what you have to do. That's very important point. As a person, and from person it has been personal. How personal conduct, how people behave in profession. That's a big point of view. If you determine that you have to work as an engineer, as being a real engineer, you can become real engineer, or you think, no, I have to become manager, you can become a manager, which means you do nothing, just manage. A wrong conception has been created about manager. Manager means they think a person who takes work from others and delivers. I don't consider that management definition. My management definition is entirely different. It states that it takes responsibility, accountability and liability. If you are unable to share that, you are not manager. You have to manage means from lowest grade to highest grade to have manage. You have to manage, and if you cannot do that, you are misfit on that job, because you are not talking, you are not writing, you are using materials, natural materials. You are using artificial resources. You are using everything to deliver to someone for permanent use. So that is very important point here. Maybe engineering could not be understood very well by public, but it requires to be understood now. Material doesn't come in 1 minute. Even if you want aggregate, you have to go to rocks and take aggregate from there after crushing. Same thing for other materials, dust, or you can say sand or cement. Cement is already a manufactured material which contains limestone, means already you is there. You is silica, you is there. You see components of these materials, you will understand what you are doing. So management means you have to manage each work, each discipline yourself. You have to lead and direct that. And before that you have to understand what actually you have to do. You must know your scope. You must know what price will be paid. You must know what specification is applicable. You must know how many drawings are there. All discipline drawings, not one discipline drawing. It's required to be known. And that you have to deal with all resources, temporary or physical, permanent, or for temporary work, for preparatory work and for permanent work. Everything, every article, every method, every activity, all whatever are used on project must be understood very well before you start project. Or if you start blindly, you will never be able to pick up that project. Yes, if it is a repetition of something else, we already know that. That's always a part of learning. That you deliver that project many times, so it's not a problem for you. But in that case, you are confined to that, you are not starting newer projects. My purpose is just to let you understand what actually project management means. Does it mean same that you are taught, or it seems something different? In project management, generally we teach bar chart and PERT and CPM. That's not project management, that's just, you can say, scheduling or programming or like that. That's a part of project management, not total project management. This point we have to clear. Project management is very vital, involving all disciplines, experts from various disciplines, sub-disciplines, all branches of engineering. If you are the construction building, it doesn't mean you only use civil engineer who work. You are a civil engineer, civil design engineer, site engineer, discipline engineer, anyway, like mechanical engineer of same power, electrical engineer and other discipline engineers, all work together in one way or other way. A team of engineers, team of professionals is required to deliver a project from design point of view and from professional point of view. That's where we understand that, we have to understand that. If you don't understand that, you will never be able to independently work on a project and get it delivered to whoever user is there. That point we understand, If it's not understood well, you can't deliver a project. If you don't know what you have to do, it's written on documents, and those documents are prepared by people like you. I can also prepare documents, you prepare if you are qualified enough. But preparation is one part of job, implementation is another part of job. I respect designs because designs are very significant, very healthy, and they require a lot of thinking on that. If the design is implemented, it's fine. If it works, if design is not implemented, we can say you cannot do that. Every time we repeat this, it's not a question of repetition, it's a question of achievement. If you can't manage, you can't move. If you just say control is one part, just like a car is there. If you say I drive, I use my steering, brake and accelerator and drive car, doesn't mean car, not at all. In controls, you manage car, or how you manage car. You manage car concentrating on road driving, understanding signals, varying speed. But do you understand total control of car? You don't understand. If somebody asks you, you are driving at high speed, but you can meet accident, and you are in too low speed, that some car can hit you. Both you have to understand what's the fast speed method, what's the slow speed method, and what are other methods you can speak to car speaks to you. Same thing, what you have to do is, your project is a car, you have to drive, or you have to driver's seat, you have to understand where to go. If you don't understand the destination or speed, you have to do what height of that road is, what elevation it is, what slope is there on car. If you don't understand that, you cannot drive safe, you'll just meet an accident. That's part of the project management. You should know what you are going to do in totality. The scope is very important in project management, scope of contract. What contract says, what you actually bid for, what you are going to deliver. That only your tender bid will say, that's only what you bring, including on a project charter that will speak of. These points are really very significant, very important if you understand from that angle. If you say, no, it's not, I'm concerned with my discipline alone, you won't be successful at all. You have to intermingle with others. It's necessary. intermingle with yourself. You consider yourself a mechanical engineer. You consider yourself other engineer. You talk to yourself as is taught in English. You deal not with one document, you deal with multitude documents of multi-layers of multidisciplines. You deal with drawings, you deal with specifications, you deal with codes, you deal with general knowledge, you deal with interaction, you deal with your writing, you deal with others' writing, and then you deal with totality. Totality of project. It's a study, it's not simple. Your project may require 2 years, 3 years to complete, but there are thousands of volumes, documents, written documents, drawing documents, other documents, and so many limits are there. If you don't understand, so many tolerances are there, you don't understand. So many of the factors are there, you don't understand. So many relays, queries to be relayed, queries to be published, all that, and you have to amend, you have to work, you have to understand, you have to issue method statements, and you have to use methodology of some material. Don't confuse method statement, methodology. I'm not talking about methodology, I'm talking about method statement. When I say method statement, written statement by ourselves, approved by ourselves, agreed by ourselves, and to implement that. Methodology is something else, and some proprietary material there. That person uses some methodology for purpose of delivering that, for manufacturing that. That methodology is something else because there's a science involvement. Here is a common sense involvement. So methodology and method statement of common sense writings are different. I try to disseminate to you people about various methods, various controls of quality. That links to quality body, and that is ISO 9001 2015 issue, which means that's the development, it is development. It took many years for development. But have you understood that? Are you going to understand that? Or if you understand only something, not full thing, if you understand Euro codes or our codes, some other codes, and you understand methods, quality and safety and all that, you must know something of everything. You must know implementation of all. That's what is very important in that world. You have to be not simply saying that no, it's not mine, I'm expert of that, I'm qualified there, I'm just put it by mistake. If you put it by mistake, you make mistakes. No, don't make mistakes. Either try to reset yourself, refine many jobs, or you come out of that, you are able to understand. If you understand, fine, you can understand very well. But what you have to understand, you only can do, you read documents, go to all documents, study them, understand very well, find the scope of work, find what are the conditions, find the special conditions, what is complete design and feel all that. If you understand that, you can have whole on command of the project. But that command has come in minutes. It takes time. People have to understand. You have to explain to them what you have to do. What's in the mind and me, all that's required very well. If the situation is there, you can do something. You can lead project or you can follow project, either of that. If you are not able to understand thoroughly what project is, you don't know scheme of that, you cannot chart out overall what you have to do. It's a question to be understood then. It's a question to be resolved by yourself. And that resolution is not easy. That resolution is not easy. There are two aspects of a profession. One aspect is that you are in service, you are in job. So your limitation is job. Oh, I have to get salary on this job and my job is this. You have to decide yourself. Or if you are different mind, you think, no, I am a package professional. There's a difference. You are a salaried professional or you are a fee professional or a package professional. No. Though I am in employment, I am going to see forward. I am going to see distance from here, where I want to be. My next destination is that. If you want to move forward, you want to lead profession, you want to say, no, I am going to do this, it's not my objective, my objective is different, then you would certainly not think of salary alone. Salary is one part, but development is another part. You have to lead yourself in life. You want to get yourself done. I'll go to be professional of freelancing nature. Then you have to learn a lot, because engineering is not such a profession which doesn't change. It keeps on changing every day. Processes are changed, many other implications are changed, considerations and thoughts are changed. So if you just limit yourself, no, I have to get a job and live my life comfortably, then you're a part engineer. If you know, I have to pick up everything in my design and also of other professions, then you can say you are a real engineer. That's very important point for developing quality system. It takes a lot of effort, lot of time, lot of coverage, because you are going to fight against some people who are not with you. You are not on the same page. They people have contacts or tenders because they want to make earning, they want to make money. You should have good relation to all, and you have to make money with your manager or your superintendent, or you call it, say, 100%. Superintendent like level means to supervise, and superintendent works and they don't take direct responsibility. Means direct responsibility or indirect responsibility, question is not that. Question is response, question is determination, question is commitment, what level of percentage development you are doing, what level of commercial people who attach to you are doing, what is total response from these people. I tried to involve myself with ISO 9001 2015 annexes, and I tried to explain to you at least 4. One was general, other was RCC buildings execution, RCC building supervision, and also one more, how we deal with designs. That is normal in some profession. There will be hundreds of such in each and every discipline. But I am concerned with major part of discipline, and that is construction, real estate, and oil. These processes cost a lot for engineers, because engineers are not, if signing is not required, engineer won't be there for a couple of hours. In that, I try to respond as an engineer to all engineers, all non-engineers. My policy is completely different. I am just there to help you to understand what should be done, to understand what should not be done. We have to forget we are working for some client, or we are working for client, but as far as that project is concerned, not otherwise. Client is not my relative. I have a relation to project on support of client. Yes, client pays for project, clients invest for project, but qualification of building, or because the standard of buildings or works which are done, have got no relation to client, even if client is given a copy. So they'll just record it. We don't understand who goes into that depth of titles and subjects and specifications. Nobody goes into that. They just want to see work done. So we have to show them work done. But time depends upon us. You cannot blame us. Scientists are real heroes, and without them, at least we can't move. It's very easy for politicians to say something about something else, but I don't mind that, your choice. But I am politician of my work. I am not politician of that party. My politician is my work, my project, my politician. I will look for project, not for someone else. I want to be able to keep my I want to give my body temperature. That's why I'm drinking small hot water. It keeps me warm, and I think should do the same. I was talking on many items. Was some stage, and my items, as I told, listed wise, and it was. It says I close some file here so that it doesn't affect my speech. I talk to you. This is quality list, and this is this file I close safety elements. Okay, quality requirements, which is actually we are talking of. And in this I already talked to you about setting out an excavation and hand excavation, checklist for formation, etc. And blinding, then concrete protection, then foundation footings, etc. Then stub columns and backfill, then floating slab or floor slab, RCC columns work, walls work, then lift well, and then can say RC long-term stair works, and after that the RC suspended slab work. And that was RCC pedestals, footings for steel framework, and also this is RCC footings blocks for steel frameworks. Then we can say DC generator and alternative foundations, and then the fair face structural works, RCC architectural finish work, and then RCC hoodie slab, then sloping portion, then RCC sloping portion, and then RCC heavy compressor foundation works. This was, I think, I was moving out to give you I also issued a temporary diagram, handwritten diagram, just to remind you what it was, so that is a reminder you watch again. We remember if you notice that. So maybe you found that doesn't matter. I'll show you other one. That's this one. It was very clear here. This type of sketch. This is a building here. This is a foundation here. Actually, this is a foundation, and it's like that. This is columns vertical, the foundation vertical, below that columns vertical, and that is your structure on which your machine is going to rest, gel is going to rest, and this is the it's a section of tabletop, and we call it tabletop. And how we plan it to pour this, I will show you that in this one. That's very interesting, and how this plan was. I also discussed with you how to work on that, how to find that, and we had worked successfully on that one, and that's what was explained to you that day. And it was of course nice that we discussed. Let me see if I can show you the documents again, if I find that one. It's not easy to find sometimes, sometimes it's difficult to find, and if I get that, I'll show you. Yes, it is raft concrete, and then it's mass block, and mass block was here. This is way here, and this is squeezed out for your understanding. This was the year, I remember. You remember that? How to sequence activities of pouring. Strip of that way, and this was. And other one was here. This is mass block. This methods of raft. This is that one. After this, I move further. I move further here. I move further here, and it is. If I go to the how I read first. I read first before starting talking. And this is heavy compressor foundation work. May apply to crack gas, propane gas, ethane, etc. gas compressors foundation to be installed within process area of plants, and dimensions of foundation could be 25 meters into 8 to 10 meters wide and 2 meters deep. This is general description, can vary. This is only for reference, only for guide. And what we have to do, we have to ensure formation level is achieved by requiring fill or otherwise. Ensure the formation level is duly tested and approved. Ensure all precaution required for such area for ingress and egress and other safety measures. And ensure blinding is well laid. Concrete protection applies accordingly. Ensure protection of concrete protection mechanism, if so required, is applied. Ensure sharp fabricated rebars, of course, uncoated ones are received from installation. Ensure STs, cuts and bends rebars are rightly tagged, and check about one side fabrication of forms smoothly going on for vertical sides. Ensure whether or not vacuum test is conducted for concerned protection membrane applied, and should be proprietary form. Should it be proprietary form, it should be complied with manufacturer's drawings. Check the material is made on prepared foundation for location of rebars. Ensure that delivered rebars are placed properly using require strong shears of considerable size. Rebars is 25 mm. Then ensure the heavy columns or walls, if so designed, are well placed intact into foundation portion. Mind that these bars are always heavy, as well as sometimes bending of these rebars is not permitted. It requires spatial positioning of these rebars. Since heavy quantity of rebars are required for such foundations, heavy deeper chairs are required at various locations depending on expected working load. Then ensure that workers do work safely within space available. Check fabricated forms are in compliance within dimensions of foundation. Ensure that forms are erected in sequence and well supported. Ensure sequential panel edges are well secured. Ensure corner plates are well secured. Ensure access to inside of forms being safe. Ensure access to inside of form being safe. Ensure alignment and plumb for forms, and ensure inclined supports are fixed to necessary requirement. Ensure concrete spaces are installed to meet rebar requirement. Ensure certain bars on top are allowed to be fixed later so that entry is allowed to descend to lower bars. Ensure that sacrificial anodes are arranged and their interface connections to foundation rebars, and that tied up and rebars are tied up by using galvanized wires or cables clamped with stainless steel C clamps. Ensure that sacrificial anodes to be inserted thus is duly welded. Then inspection of these anodes have to be done going to lower reinforcement inspection of anode. Ensure electrical continuity shall ensure electrical connectivity test conducted properly on all rebars, and plan for pouring method that has to be approved. Then plan for concrete ordering sequence. Ordering sequence. Plan for pouring working hours or pouring hours from what time to what time. Then pouring arrangements, workers deployment on site, stepping management of pouring, sleeping management, not actually sleeping, it is sleeping management of pouring. Then thermal controls, steering management of pouring thermal controls. Then working access on to top area, and for stand or by construction joint formwork or stop arrangement to meet any dam emergency. This is regarding foundation. Now I'll see something about RCC table part column works. That's column works. I just was talking of foundations. Now column work. I'm just trying to speak these items. Later I'll give you something else and then continue on this. Ensure curing for foundation concrete is accomplished. That you have to understand. It's a very important point. You cannot leave it blank. It's very important one. Ensure curing of foundation concrete is accomplished. Ensure construction joint is cabled properly. Ensure setting out locations are correct. Ensure columns reinforcement is placed constant correctly on drawings. And ensure tanks. Ensure sacrificial anode are fixed to required height, well anchored, and ensure tangent tangent GS and GI 20 GI you can say. Ensure setting out of locations are correct. Ensure column reinforcement is placed correctly into drawings. Ensure sacrificial anode are fixed to required height, well anchored. Ensure tanked GI steel plate inserts are available, duly fabricated from workshop. Check proper holes are available for fixing by fastenings to forms using bolts. Ensure all form sides are fixed with inserts properly and inspected. Make sure tanks of plates should be embedded in concrete. Make sure all sides of forms are erected after rebar inspections. Have close-up forms and carry out all columns forms operation. Check out concrete pouring levels. Check form supporting arrangements. Make sure temporary platform is available for easing casting, such as the pour in full height if feasible. 2 stages of pour can also be allowed depending on no column height limits. And in checklist for ours is the tabletop, which is also very important. I can understand that. No problem. I have to move gradually actually. Let me put my scanning also on so that some scanning is done. Though it's not actual time, so already quarter-to-5. Let's see how it works. Now I'm talking tabletop, which is very common. Make sure axis of rotation of machine. Make sure axis of rotation of machine. You must know where is that, because depends on that how to fix machine. Ensure grids in both directions are indicated on drawing. Grids in both directions is very important point. Ensure that sharp drawings is produced and approved. Then check whether or not tabletop is to be produced by one customer. Certainly beams of top are quite deep and construction joint shall cause practical problems. Have a discussion with responsible designer or authority to discuss in this case. Then according to engineering requirement, one go-to pouring is appreciable if it is one-time pouring. Check that columns, construction joints are well scabbled or hacked. Check columns are tightly marked with datum lines. Check formwork is completely erected. Ensure fitness of formwork, preferably by formwork manufacturer expert. Check all access scaffolding is installed for ease of working, complete ease of working. Check setting out profiles on forms of slabs. Check all deep beams are correctly marked, and check all block out are rightly inspected. Ensure rivers are delivered duly fabricated from workshop or yard. Ensure that delivered rebars are placed properly, and keep close watch on work since Rebars on such works are complicated in design, and make sure rebar arrangement of placing is rightly followed without causing any complication. Check all preparatory works in all respects. Make sure cathodic protection arrangements are rightly installed. Make sure that level of top of concrete are seen. It's significant to note that levels should be within tolerable limits. A space between top of concrete and machine support bottom shall be required to be epoxy grouted. All temporary and preparatory works require detailed checking horizontally as well as vertically. Locations of defined inserts to be checked and accurately developed. Plan about method of pouring, as pouring requires a good thought out sequence. Have inspections of all items above. Now I will explain to you also, I will already explain to you. Before going further, I would like to discuss some paper that I prepared long back, so that you share that one before jumping on further. You can say what I mean to say. What is that actually? Let me find out what I want to discuss with you. Let us say I yesterday just tried to see what was actually, not in this maybe other one. Let us see method statements. That is the facilities. That is the thing. It's facilities that I want to. Yeah, it's facilities. I think I will find something. I have written some papers like that, procurement controls, then it's procurement controls, and then it's all that is there. Sketches and GBS, construction. Now, construction controls facilities, project management facilities, detailed engineering facilities, building design concept, procurement facilities, Italian process. Something was there, project management facilities. Let's see actually what is taking about. Let me see if I can use something here. I had given it GGBS before. Construction controls and facilities. Let me see what it says. What it says, let us see. Construction control. I don't know how many pages are these. Let me see. If the big one is okay. It's not, otherwise I don't mean that. So I think it's big one, yes. So I can take some of your time on this, so that we can make use of time in the right way, so things are understood properly. Yeah, start. Now I'll give you this brief talk which is given here, just pre-arrangement to appraise you what I am talking about. That's very important. Yes, now I'll just give you here what I'm talking of. I say, welcome Mr. Meadows, and you're welcome, alright, fine. Now here's the paper I give you that one. Actually these are certain construction controls, and I'll discuss with you that. You see, this is a complete paper. I'll discuss with you on this one. Same. Okay, sorry. Now it says construction and controls. Oh, yeah, get lost. unnecessarily. They very disturb me for nothing. I don't know what they want. Actually, they want it. Construction and controls. Yes, Mr. Please, good morning. What do you want to say? I am busy, please. Okay, fine. What do you want? What do you want? Something? Are you asking something? Hello? Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. God, nonsense. They are, I think, illiterate people. I don't know the CVs of these people on Facebook. I make mistakes sometimes now. Construction and controls are very interrelated sections for successful completion of a project. Design may be considered oversafe or optimum, but real construction involves actual expenses, contract time, and reputation. Now, all this written is fine, but I'm just reading for you and explain why is that. Now, it should be motto of an organization to apply good controls on project to keep on line, on schedule or planning on actual part of controls. Control includes progress, cost escalation, time, budget, quality assurance, quality requirement engineering, safety, risk covering and delays recoveries. These are all integrated divisions which should move in unison to achieve project delivery target. A well-designed project could be jeopardized during construction phase from budgetary viewpoint should it not be given due controls application properly. So you understand what I'm saying? Controls means cost, time, quality. These are major controls. Without this you cannot get your target, you get your milestone and deliver project. Now it says programming or schedules. Programming schedules indicating by NAT bars, GNAT, we call bar charts, actually the GNAT bars, or by CPM, that's called critical path method or program evaluation and review technique, various graphical representations respecting overall and detailed plans for time, activities, milestones, manpower or workforce loadings, requirement, machinery loadings, requirement, cost flow with all other requirements and monitoring reviews of all these controls. During whole currency of project from real progress, lost time, recoveries as well as look ahead projections. So these programming instruments or you can say tools like bar chart or NAT, CPM of part, these are devices we use for deciding on what date we have to receive or achieve this and how we reach that, all this support, how to calculate workforce, how to calculate equipment and how to calculate time and then total requirement, total budget you can say, and monitoring of budget, all is done by that. Then we can say further, scheduling documents are produced. Scheduling documents are produced involving all sections working for project and report are interactively considered by all departments. What problem? Scheduling documents are produced involving all sections working for project and reports are interactively considered by all departments. Yes, please, good morning. Yes, good morning. What is this? Are you mad? Idiot, yeah. He's showing his tongue. Stupid guy. Bloody fools. Scheduling documents are produced involving all sections working for project and reports are interactively considered by all departments. These people really sometimes, if I meet them, I'll slap on their faces. They don't understand time of others. Planning engineers or project control engineers work for such activities dedicatedly on project reporting from day to day basis and time to time basis. Planning activities commence from day one of commencement to final completion. while documents are produced from level 1 to maybe level 5 depending on project or contract specification requirement. Now, generally, Primavera or MS Project software are used for producing professional documentation for planning purpose. This you know very well. Even when there was no MS Project or no softwares as such Primavera, we used to plan ourselves from first principle, you may say, from original ideas of time fixing, manpower fixing, and material fixing. This is genuine, means the software are there to support us. Now, during bidding stage, also programming documents giving complete details and milestones, manpower, machines, cash flow, etc. are provided for inclusion with technical proposal, which is considered as one of capability competencies of proposal. Let me repeat this, during the tender stage also, programming documents giving complete details and milestones, manpower, workforce, machines, cash flow, etc. are provided for inclusion with technical proposal, which is considered as one of capability competencies of proposal. Technical bid means non-commercial. This is in this complete technical methods you have to submit which claim, which guarantee that you are capable to do this job. That's called technical submission, which is also a quality document that exhibits what you can do or you can do. Or if you cannot do that, then you are not qualified for that. But if you can understand, can express your way how you are going to do the job, then you are an eligible person, you are eligible to get the job, and then your completion or commercial value starts. That's what it says. Then in case details or do not give full information about proposed methods of execution for which it forms a part, proposal may be liable to rejection. If it doesn't mean that, it says that in case such technical details do not give full information about proposed method of its execution for which it forms a part, proposal may be liable to rejection. So mobilization comes later on. What says mobilization? Very first step to get into stage of physical establishment or construction. First stage is mobilization, and mobilization may have many stages on that we'll discuss later on. Now just trying to tell you in preliminary studies what we are going to do. In fact, on site to get project start. Sites taken over, we take over site, and all transfer stations are established. Transfer station means coordinates, level, etc. So transfer stations are actually using available satellite records. It's not now manual, we have all expertise of that, using tools and using professionals in that. We establish our coordinates and levels from satellite, so that's very easy these days. Surveying department commences its work for establishment objectives. Approvals are obtained from authorities concerned, from engineer or client, who are responsible for that. Those guys would approve this third party work actually. This is not directly independent freelancing work. We use certain certified surveyors for this purpose to shift and transfer actually to site our coordinates and levels. Applications are made for obtaining record drawings from statutory services authorities if so required. Means record drawings, as I discussed earlier also, are those drawings which are running services underground about which we do not know if it is there. If it's not green project, maybe it's a brown project or some existing projects. It may be running services or from other plants, and if these services are not known to us, start excavation and damage the life services, will hamper, it will destroy something, or it will stop work of that process plant, or it will damage some supply of services to residents of that area, which is a crime, penalty, ignorance, and you have to suffer that. If you have not information, you get this information from the authorities, statutory bodies, so are competent to keep such records and issue those records on our application. So we come to know these services are there, we can take due care either to divert the service or to ask authority to remove that service. Whatever is decided has to be done. Then applications are also made to operating authorities for issue of all record drawings if so required by permits. Well, that's natural. We have to get these drawings, but once of ask for release means we have to do that, whatever is required legally by procedures. Permit to work is called PTW. Permit to work is required prior to commencement of an excavation, either in hot or in cold areas. Whatever it is, we need permit to work, which is a procedure for which is received from operating authority of whatever plant or facilities. Without that, we cannot work whatsoever area it is. Then no excavation is allowed in projects until these permits are obtained, already covered. Then for application of work to start permit, if you want to get permit, you have to start an application, and we have to include in the application documentation is carried out giving details of what applied work, what work we apply for, official award letter, availability of safety officers, full-time supervisor, method statements, etc. And then application is considered for sanction, and sanction is received means we are allowed to work indefinite period, and if you do not do indefinite period, then we have to reapply for that. Now fencing is erected, establishments, fence we have to erect on site, on yard, wherever. Establishment of temporary, this I'm talking about mobilization, it says fencing is erected, establishment of temporary camp and offices are affected according to engineer approved plans and method statements. Then it is all arrangements for accommodation for personnel. Personnel means all workers, sanitary facilities, water supply for drinking, as well as for washing purpose, electrical and air conditioning, firefighting, access to camp, security, messing, sewage treatment plant, leisure areas, common rooms, sport courts, parking, swimming pools, local shops, etc., as required by contract, and temporary facilities that contractor or engineer deem necessary should be provided. This means complete mobilization of offices, mobilization of yards, mobilization of a camp, give toilets and all temporary facilities, and even required residential facilities or accommodations, all are covered in that part of contract and work. Similarly, site offices establishments should also be constructed according to establishment approved plans and permit to work obtained before commencing work for establishment offices. Site offices should start functioning on or before appointed day according to program of mobilization. It should be kept in view that some agreed percentage of payments should be released when mobilization is completed and work can be commenced with. Then it is mobilization also includes deployment of required workforce, machinery and supervisory, construction safety, planning and engineering, as well as administration staff without a loss of time. Now this is deployment accelerates procedure. This deployment accelerates procedure on commencement of job in beginning, and time may be gained to keep in line with program. Now smart and efficient project manager or engineers. Smart and efficient. You understand what this means? This aspect I very well. This aspect, understand this aspect very well. Who understand this? Smart and efficient project managers or engineers understand this aspect very well, keeping very proficient at this stage, as additional efforts are required to commence with kick-off project. No, running project may not be that difficult to push, but starting and streamlining all departments, operations demands efficiency and hard work. Now, site offices require full-fledged, modern, computerized facilities for fast interaction and communication with communication, intranet or internet telecommunication. So this is about communication. It says site offices require full-fledged modern computerized facilities for fast interaction, communication, interaction, or intranet and internet communication, telecommunication, conferencing, sanitary water supply, drinking water dispensers, refreshments, electrical supply, standby generator, heat, ventilator, and air conditioning, first aid, ambulance, doctor for immediate attention with nurses, assistants, and a well-established site clinic. The site offices require full-fledged store, warehousing, mechanical, auto maintenance, and repair workshops, vehicular equipment, parking areas, labor, temporary shelters for lunch and tea, etc., as well as for rest pauses necessary under safety management for prevention of heat stroke and environment attack during hot weather hours. Now I talk of material selection. Material is also very important part on a project without which you cannot do anything. Just like without workforce you cannot do anything. So material is also of same importance. So I'm just going to talk about that as well. I don't know, I feel thirsty today. I don't know why. Maybe hot. It is 25 more. Well, let's continue. I'm just reading from my calculator. It's there. I have some file, put some file, maybe I don't have that one. Well, now without material, no project can be completed in time. That's well known. This is only item that may delay completion of project due to possible non-delivery of materials in time. And material constitutes more than 60 to 70% budget for contract, and every prudent contractor should intend to make as much saving as could be possible out from this element of expenditure, simultaneously keeping in line with quality assurance and control procedures. Every purchase department manager and owner of organization or company tries their best to procure acceptable material within reasonable and minimum cost, making trial and again from a number of interested vendors both before and after award of a contract. There may be some delay to decide from which vendor or which supplier materials are to be procured. It is also expected in a similar fashion from prospective subcontractors. But relevant purchases, managers should not endeavor to spend unnecessary redundant time on this activity, but make a decision in time to get delivery to site materials in planned time, including all FAT as well as SAT, SAT, and performance tests. Then material approvals is a tedious and time-consuming exercise which must be given due consideration with optimum time management for a possible successful completion of a contract. It has to be remembered that missing approval, no purchase order can be released if no approval is taken. Can there be no other procurement? It has to be remember that the missing approval, no purchase order can be released by procurement manager or project engineer. Then it should also be taken note of that there are hundreds of permanent inclusion materials respecting which approval required to be obtained. Every submission, every submission requires full manufacturer's information, engineers' specifications as well as conventional practices, demand and updated standards which should also be covered within budget and cost otherwise. Escalation would result in escalation would result in should delay being allowed, resulting in overall debt delay on project completion, leading to facing impositions of liquidated damages on contract. Actually, it suggested that major homework should have been carried out at bidding and the tendering stage itself to avoid such delays. Of course, market may fluctuate, but there should remain room for negotiation with vendors or suppliers. Manpower workforce, about what it says, measure workforce and manpower relation. Significant element in absence of which nothing is feasible. This is a manpower which is workforce. Difficulty has to be faced when well trained workforce is not available in time from expected source. It's not available, so you have to face problem. A contractor shall try to deploy workforce costing within job budget. There shall be so many problems for deploying them and providing demanded facilities on contract. The human resources department should be efficient to deal with this matter so that particular delay is avoided due to non-availability of required planned manpower. Workforce shall be time schedule wise required, respecting all disciplines, and be kept on mobilization in and demobilized out according to project requirement. Similarly, staff shall also be mobilized and demobilized according to contract requirement related to time schedule. On considerable size projects, mobilization and demobilization programs are prepared and approved by engineer or client to ascertain that jobs commence in time and after commencement in time and after demobilization progress is not affected adversely. In fact, only after approval from client is obtained, demobilization can be effected, though approval shall not be withheld. Okay, it should not be withheld unreasonably, not reasonably. No. Control of manpower constitutes or control of workforce constitutes in itself a separate mini discipline involving complete procedures from making requirement, forming recruitment strategy, approving strategy using agencies, and then conducting interviews, short listing of selections, and appointment on Control contract followed by mobilization to job site. This is a long process which must be professionally planned, pre-planned to avoid conflicts with site requirement, as well as also to remember that all workers recruited for project being mobilized temporary or further rotation only provided further projects are won. Then equipment. This was about manpower. Now equipment. Equipment is also very important from construction viewpoint because equipment costs much more than workers' salaries. Even higher charges for equipment are very expensive on projects, but you cannot buy all equipment for your project if you are not very big company. Yeah, you can buy if you have potential, if you expect that you will get so many jobs in coming few years. Maybe its rent is more than its original price, but just can be easily understood. Equipment is very expensive, but it's very efficient and very useful on construction projects. Equipment necessary for inclusion on project permanently. Permanently requires considerable input from authorization, feed stage to performance stage. Now, equipment necessary for inclusion on project permanently requires considerable input from authorization, feed stage to perform stage. Feed stage front end engine design and performance stage when it works. Okay. Technology decision for project dictates the model and type of equipment to be installed for facility. Now, elaborate. My God, these people will not understand anything, and these people just go on talking and calling for nothing, just showing some tongue, showing some thumb. These people don't understand them. What they want, they only know what they want actually. Point fact. Now, we'll say here. Yes, good morning. Good morning. Hello. I'm fine. How are you? I'm live. Do you want to say something? Do you want to say something? Huh? Okay, okay. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? I am busy. You want to say something? I am busy. I am live. You want to say something? I am live on video. I am live on Facebook. Are you going to say something? Because people are listening, watching. You want to say something? Do you want to say something? Oh my God. Don't English? No English?
No, I'm talking English.
From where? From which country?
India.
India, you don't know English?
No.
Which language you know?
Hindi.
हिंदी क्या बोलना है बोलिए क्या बोलना चाहते हो
आप कहाँ रहते हैं?
इसको छोड़ो बात करो काम की यार मैं कहीं भी रहता हूँ उससे क्या मतलब है आप वो काम की बात करो ना कोई
नहीं, आप तो मेरा फेसबुक फ्रेंड है ना।
हाँ तो आपको मेरे से क्या लेना है मैं कहाँ रहता हूँ आपको मैं कहाँ रहता हूँ उससे हाँ
आप गुस्सा काहे कर रहे हैं?
गुस्सा क्यों कर रहे हो आप बात मैं बिजी हूँ यार वीडियो में चल रहा है और आप बीच में आ गए इसलिए गुस्सा हूँ ठीक है ना ओके ओके फाइन थैंक यू बीच में आ गए इतबड़ करना है यार कैसे लोग हैं समझ नहीं आता कोई कल्चर ही नहीं है देश में कहीं भी घुस जाओ सोचो मत दूसरे को डिस्टर्ब करो तीसरा चौथा था शायद ये नॉनसेंस है फिर कहते हैं जी गुस्सा करते हैं क्या करें इनको आरती दारू इनकी कहते लोग तुमको कॉर्नर ही चाहिए ऐसे लोगों को इनको पकड़ना चाहिए कॉर्नर को बोलने पकड़े इनको यार हद हो गई यार डिस्टर्ब करना क्या कर रहा था मैं याद नहीं यार yes technology decision for project dictates model and types of equipment to be installed for facility Somebody joined, I think. Yes, Mr. What's that? Mr. Chaudhary, you're welcome. Okay. And Mr. Chaudhary Jaju, okay, thank you very much. Chaudhary Raju, alright. Do your best. What is. Did you? Your best price and eyes of morning. Please find my attached resume of what? I don't know what it says. Alright. Sometime what this, I don't know what it says. Well, I'm continuing. Technology decision for project dictates model and types of equipment to be installed for facility. Elaborate and descriptive detailing is extremely necessary during designing, approval and procurement stages. Elaborate and descriptive detailing, do you understand that? Complete details we need during designing and approval of procurement stages. When you are going to procure something, you are going to buy from market something, you need complete specification, complete quantity of that before placing any order, because if you buy more than required, it will be wasted. If you buy less than required, you will not be able to complete job. It's professional work to decide within certain variation limits of 5% or 2 or 3% that you buy, you placed an order with. Then you can say it's regarding equipment, I think. Yeah, equipment necessary. So equipment is something else. I was thinking of match. So equipment must be suitable for fit for what purpose you want to get it. You should not get wrong equipment. Even if you hire that, fine. In hire, there's a chance that you return that. But if you hire on monthly basis, in that case you can't return. If you hire for local day or some 1 day or 2 day or few hours, it's okay. But then which equipment you have to buy? Sometimes there's a crawler mounted equipment, sometimes tire mounted equipment. Your site doesn't permit crawler mounted because that causes damages to surface of road. In that case, you got tire mounted, and if you do tire mounted, it's not that much efficient. And that's what you need if actually you want. This depends on that. If you have knowledge of site, you must have which machine you are getting. You can ask detailed specifics. Now go and visit that hirer, that equipment supplier, and you see which one is best for your work. You can discuss with that person, I'm going to do this job, shall it work or shall not work. Based on that only you can place hire or purchase order. So its elaborate and descriptive detailing is extremely necessary during designing, approval and procurement stage. Now equipment install must satisfy design requirement. Design requirement must be satisfied, and failing which a facility shall be jeopardized of performance, giving a possible halt to processing. So same thing I was saying is we do not want to jeopardize our actions, our work, and for which the say equipment installed must satisfy design requirement, failing which facility shall be jeopardized of performance, giving possible halt to processing, and client or operating authority impose design or EPC contractor who's disturbing again. Amar Rachid, what is Amar Rachid? Equipment, so I just this, what I was saying, installed. Equipment installed must satisfy design requirement, failing which facility shall be jeopardized of performance, giving a possible halt to processing, and client or operation authority impose designer or EPIC contractor liable to compensate all damages incurred to it by faulty commissioned equipment. So this point you have to understand very well, means your work should not be jeopardized because of your incorrectly specified equipment. And equipment are always equipment. So EPIC contractor is liable to compensate all damages incurred to it by faulty commissioning for equipment. This man disturbed me, Equipment are always too expensive, requiring making complete decisions for inclusion as well as for election of vendor. Equipment are always too expensive, it means it costs millions sometimes, crores sometimes. If you buy in rupees, it may cost crores. If you buy in foreign currency, it may cost millions, or like that, depending on what type of machine you are going to buy, equipment you will buy. So equipment is always too expensive, requiring making competent decisions for inclusion as well as for election of vendor. Now, decision pertinent model dictates vessels foundation designs. Vessels foundation design and vessels, I'm talking of big vessels. It's not small vessels, and these are all vessels which oil plant or some facilities that require all vessels. We call them stationary vessels, or you can call them dynamic or vibratory vessels. This requirement should also be kept in view while working on designs to avoid delay on account of providing input to civil design team. Means you are going to buy some equipment which is to be placed, which is to be permanently included on your project, but you should understand that these machines or this equipment vessels shall have certain foundations on which they are going to be sited, and that details of foundation design depends on information given to designer about that equipment, about that machine. If that input is not given to designer in time, designer will delay project design. So you have to keep that point and understanding why you're thinking of that. Means requirements should also be kept in view while working on designs to avoid delay on account of providing input to civil design team. That's very important point. Means this is a time factor. This can impact your total schedule. Therefore, it's a significant one. Frequent amendments, modifications means frequent amendment notifications have been experienced on major projects during day of concreting or 1 or 2 days before. This type of bad practice should preferably be avoided to a possible extent. Now, if possible, certain decisions could be reached at feed stage with EPIC contractor. EPIC stands for Engineering, Procurement and Implementation Contractor, directed to comply with equipment vendor based on contractual novation of items. Now, procurement issue is there. Procurement Sorry, well, I'm just referring to my previous papers so that I don't waste my time, and just you must get full information. These disturbers, these people entering, poking in, somebody showing tongue, like that, somebody is doing like this, nobody talks anything. I expect them to talk something. If they come, they are welcome, but you raise questions, or just you are in your bed doing this childish behavior. Do you accept this behavior? Why you are calling if you have to show like this only? I don't understand. Mature people, not kids. If kids do this, I accept. Kids have a right to do that. But persons of adult age, or even senior or mature people, if they do like this is complete foolishness, I would say. I don't accept that behavior that's conducted by such people. Now, procurement means to supply to site all materials, equipment and process. Commences from requirement scheduling, vendor selection. See, what's that? You have to understand first of all scheduling, what time scale or what bar chart says or what your plan says. Means your schedule mandates something, that this is time for your material to reach site, and procurement must be delivered, must be done completely. It says procurement means supply to site all materials, equipment and process. Commences from requirement scheduling, vendor selection. Vendor selection, you have to select supplier or company. Now, quotation, invitation, then you have to call for quotation, then you have to shortlist quotation, then your specification match, you have to see its compatibility, you have to see, then Financial viability means you have to compare cost factor from various vendors who quote. Then approvability means this material is approvable or not according to project specifications or requirements. Warranties applications or what warranties relate to. Is it warranted according to your plan or contract? And then final decisions based on quotation that fits in within budget and items will be best for optimum performance according to requirement of contract. Now, every company organization has established its own procedures meeting guidelines of International Quality Procedures ISO 9001, according to which full corporate management is involved. For procurement management practically affected by procurement manager or engineer of corporate part on company management. So there's a department everywhere which is a big companies and big organizations, and they just take care of all this during bidding and post contract means when they get job they have to really purchase that material. So procurement department if established means you cannot depend on side guys. That department is centralized one, and that department does everything regarding procurements, provided they are given support by quantity service the details of procured items. This department involves itself for complete operations sequence from estimations of items quantities through delivery to site and taking up issues to insurances in case of transportation damage affected. Now during tender stage itself, expected items are invited for quotations for specialized and important disciplines, with negotiations conducted and in certain cases even pre-bid procurement agreement are reached subject to successful project award. Later on, subject to condition that work is awarded to tender, further procedure continues with final and confirmed quantities are worked out based on engineer's approval of proposed material or machine, which is separately applied prior to placement of procurement order. This is very time consuming. I think there is some problem with supply. I guess if I don't go power, it's all working. Alright. So there is problem in battery maybe. Later on, subject to condition, the work is awarded to tender. Further procedure continues with final and confirmed quantities are worked out based on engineer's approval of proposed material or machine, which is separately applied prior to placement of procurement order. Now this is a very time consuming process, as submission, comments, rejection, incorporation of comments, reapproval, etc. are all stages shall be involved. Process involved initially complete package submission, meet defined documentation procedures. A competent and experienced engineer should be involved to carry out all such procedures, for technicalities are to be resolved during conducting whole exercise. Study pertinent each and every requirement should be conducted by relevant discipline engineer and quotations accordingly invited. Based on quotations of financial factors, further scrutiny of quotations regarding conformance to specifications and project design criteria are conducted. Then a comparative statement is prepared giving full technical as well as financial with feasibility of timely manufacture, delivery and financial matters such as demands of letter of credits or other financial support, etc. Now looked in, all points are reflected to be examined by management for making a decision promptly. Once decision is made in favor of one of vendor suppliers, further submission procedures should be started to obtain engineer and client approval. Since procurement order cannot be placed without client or engineer's approval. After having obtained engineer's approval, requirement is processed for a procurement order by management following all accounting procedures to be effected and delivery schedule confirmed. That schedule should also be agreed by engineer and adherence to agreed dates, requirement to be adhered to until unforeseen circumstances irrelevant to general circumstances play a certain role. Delivery should be Delivery should be made smooth and all items goods in good condition. The sites for confirmation of which site manager should arrange complete examination by his team as well as by approval of delivery by engineer concerned so that delivery material or equipment is included for part percentage payment or as agreed on planning schedules. Now physical construction contract management. Physical construction contract management I'll take later on because that is very much technical in contract. Let me see what else is there after that. I'll continue later on this one. Before that, so physical management I'll take a confused it means long document. I'll take that later on. I'm just closing this for keeping discussion further on my items, which are very important one. This will take later on, as I said, and so now I was talking of the item last time. It's about quality project management. I just give background. I've given background about management. Shall I continue later on? This was just required for means what we are talking of, why we are talking of. Contract I'll take later on because contract is complicated documents, legal documents. I was not talking about legalities this time, talking about management and controls, which are very significant for everybody of us to understand before going to site or before starting taking any responsibilities. We should understand what technical is, and then technical requires what physical is, and physical requires what commercial is. So this technical, and we are talking yesterday about this list, as I just spoke before some time, that it is this tabletop and RCC foundation, heavy compressor foundation, which I discussed with the people. It says this a massive block we had to insert. Massive block means after excavation. Then I'm not going to talk about excavation anymore because we explained a lot on that, how excavation is carried out depending on soil investigation report. We have to understand the report. We have to ensure that no services are running below, and we have to ensure that bearing capacity of soil is fine, required, or strength of soil is good to our requirement, and we excavate that according to full complete that. The big project means we only excavate for each foundation, but we have to excavate for complete work, and that's very important to understand. We have to reach from established levels to formation level, and that formation level, whatever depth it may be, it requires further treatment of that soil. If we meet that much bearing capacity, we have to ensure on site this bearing capacity is reached, and then we have to make sure it's really reaching by certain more soil investigation if permitted in our contract, or it can be inserted to that because we are given some material for which we don't know whether it's fine or fine. Means our engineers are given that, and as far as engineer is concerned, engineer is not included person on team of class, but engineer is a separate office. It's like an officer, once you're working on site, where you're taking responsibility, you must be given right office. Contractor cannot obligation say, yeah, this is office of engineer. You should respect that whoever engineer is there. An engineer has full right to raise questions also about this issue. So that point it says excavation already done, and its testing is already done, and you can say if any treatment is required, it's already done, all assumed to be done. Now we have done treatment if required, we have done blinding of the required, and we have done all other items required gradually, keeping in view IS 9012-15, quality system, quality control, safety system, safety control, and then and then more controls as bonus. So I said massive block. I explained we poured that completely yesterday. We poured by stepping methods. In many hours we poured. We planned for our how we can decide planning for pouring system. Where shall we keep our pump? Where shall we keep our transit mixer? We receive them and we then dispatch them after doing job. Then get another one. We take all the quality tests like slump, like temperature, concrete temperature, ambient temperature, air wires, volume, in that. All information tells me if this concrete is right or not right. Even if slump, if according to definitions given on that, you can do that, but it's better if you avoid slump to that level. It means water cement ratio has to be correctly faced. You should not feel that it's too expensive not to be controlled, or you should not feel that it's not controlled. You have to control because it's moving, it's burning, you can't waste energy. That point is very important. Now is saying that compressed foundation which you have done according to step. I mean, yesterday we have to do steps, and we have to make sure that no cold joint is established, and no flash setting. Although I explain what cold joint means. Both concrete, last one and this one about which must be hot at time of laying. You may not say that 1 hour is gone and I was not here, we are taking water. Here, there's no such excuse. If you need water, you come check yourself. You think people are not doing? People always come continue this if they are tired. But night, they did not do this. Night, they don't care for that. It's your job to care for this equipment. Maybe somebody really helpful means looking very giant person but doing nothing. Same way, doing very giant foundation but knowing nothing. So why this is a very professional item is to take care of that, and we have to understand temperature. Time is that we have to see management of time. That's what time truck takes from moving from batching plant to site. How much time it takes from our site to the batching plant back. So the total number of hours is fine. So you can take other also points as such. Now I got a message that, for example, something happened to this, it happens. But I should care about the analysis of that. I said I poured that foundation, I prepared all scaffolding, everything was done according to what message I'm getting. Suppose I'm site, I am doing this message myself. And then people went and they slept, generally of them, 2 more were not sleeping, other side was sleeping, so it's claims for the claims that this is alright. Well, no problem, you have done this job, you have to take care of curing, which is not water curing itself, it's kind of, you can say hidden curing, or you can say curing of spatial treatment, and that's called isolation treatment, or whatever treatment means. You should use for this massive block automatic curing. Automatic curing, not just automatically is pure itself, not that. Automatic means in not busy every day putting water into that every hour after hour. Just apply some treatment, water it and forget it for 7 days or 10 days has been said. This is now winter time, so slow action in this time. This means you need more water quantity approach. So that is called thermal isolation curing in this massive block. I prefer that. I don't prefer curing by water or even curing by curing compound, because curing compound can be applied only on unformed surface. Formed surface cannot be applied with curing compound. So just cover that unformed surface such a manner that its heat of evaporation does not go out. There's water, there's heat. Heat must keep that water in the balance at 10 meter or more. So 10 meter only you are going up to 100 meter. 10 meters is not too easy, it's very difficult. You apply water curing on that, then you will suffer, you will not find reasonable quantity. So you have to leave shuttering there in place, and you cover top with some sand quantity on which you can spread your what you say, on sand you can put some polystyrene just for safety cover, and on that you can put some polythene sheets. You have to seal that vertical, horizontal plate. Horizontal plane is sealed by whatever method that it reaches do not go out, only gadgets go out. So heat treatment is applied on that by performance of thermal curing, and you might have seen the post, or you try to get this information from government offices or what the results. Now, after this is done, you keep this foundation and columns. But same thing applies to columns as well, because columns are also thick to some extent. Is they get by taking 1.5 minutes. It should be actually zone 2, but you plan according to zone 1. So this you can say abused by yourself. Now we go to columns. Once your details I say is placed today by your own methods, which we have proved. That's one important. Calling of column means you have to provide scaffolding all around for purpose of working on safety, and say it's over. Because separate down that you can move up. After that, you have to start working with steel and fixed plates, the sheets. Now let's go to column, which is one very important point. And side dimensions of column, layout of column has to be done. I just said before also, layout, bottom layout and top layout, which is to be thrown from bottom to top. And you have to measure in line to coordinates with element design. Those coordinates, those coordinates must be met. These are big items, big columns, means these are not ordinary columns. These are thermally based columns, adjacent columns, and you have to take all precautions in that. It will be 8 meters or whatever meter can be cost one time, no problem. You must have equipment like that, and what centimeters then you have to add GGPS into that. It's accepted. You can replace 70% of GGPS into this one. If you can, this battery in interest of what you can say these GGPS are required from Project and Project risks of that. Project have not stopped any time on this. So this column requires your layout and layout application, and then you have to see apply for this you can say if you are sure surveying instruments, checking levels and dimensions, all that. If it's successful, they are fine. If they are trapped somewhere, you have to go to them to talk. If suppose problems, there is no room. Then this is very summer. Now, after that, once you go up this, pour that, you have one left. Now there are so many people sitting in legal actions of that, you can take the help, if they give you the help, how to help this. Or maybe some rules are different in states and others. They don't know that they charge money. They ask. Now another item is the same one, that is columns. I have said you have done column work. Partly you have poured that in layers. As I said, layers are very important for that one. You have done layers and about 40 centimeters one time, and you have how many layers you have taken? The 8 meters. There's 20 layers possibly. 20 layers and then we do very good, very good compaction operations, so that your tanks are also dipped in. And there's no void left in concrete, let me say by testing is everywhere this complete shipping or section, which I felt it was mine. It's not mine, it's a property of science or engineers, it's property of those spending money. So that's what we say, That was very important. Thick column, big column, and gradually you lay this and then compact it 40 mm, and next one and like that, next one, and next one. The vibrator must penetrate into the whole mesh so that it makes it lock in there, and then you can come back. So double work is a widely performance. And can say tabletop work, which is actually very important. So I'll speak first about what column says, what column actually requires. That's what I'm going to speak now. It's 6 o'clock. I think maybe my laptop very hot yesterday. It happened really hot. So I may not pull to that one, but as some speak, let me see how far can I go with this, because it stated yesterday in the code that this is very hot and we cannot work on this. If that hot, then really say I think this hot enough off. Maybe I put some here. Okay, I just shift it to so heat goes down. It goes down. Let's put this way. I don't know if it will go down or not, but I shifted it to something right side so that it should not affect my. Alright, I think I missed it. I missed it. No, it's not missed yet. It's there. It's fine. I keep on. It's fine. It's still fine. And then yeah. What's that? I don't know. I just can't see doing him. Oh, man joined. Mister. But anyway, alright. Now let's go. Column works. Ensure curing for foundation. Concrete is accomplished. Ensure construction joint is cabled properly. You see, I'm every time is testing on construction joint. Actually, maybe you will not care. I'm talking about construction joints. It's not a specific one. I'm talking a general, universal, and that is means where you're putting, for example, a stub column on footing. Stub column, a small column below ground. That's called stub column. And when you cast up to your footing, and you leave within still some rough surface. That's not acceptable, because once it's compacted, it should be killed any possible. At that time, you should have done that, but maybe if you forget what happens next time, do stub work or the column or some other work, as we are talking here of a column on foundations. So foundation, there may be made 10 or 8 columns. You have some surface in that latence is there, something else is there. There cannot be permitted part of permanent work. So what do that? Before doing shutters of that, steel of that actually do cabling machine or hacking machine or manually you do that. You have to remove all latents from the tick, you completely loose particles you remove that, and also from rebars you remove all cement particles, and thus completely should be tied and clear so that you expose aggregates from foundation, and those aggregates must be seen as a part of new concrete whenever it comes up, and that's the only we understand about what is your computer makes. That's what cabling is about. So here I am saying columns. Columns you already poured, and before pouring these columns, you must have stable ground surface. That was a part of framing, part of this machine frame. So wherever joint comes together, it's not moment joint, it's not construction break, or it's not anything. It's only to construct correctly. That's one primary construct joint lies everywhere. If you're doing a small building and you're saying that on column there is a construct joint. Construct joints actually there's a column, but also at beam, and when you go up, that both are communal. It's not monolithic. It's a separate done. It's called construction joint, or you can say scabbling one. And that's very important point here. We are talking of is important from his point of view. I say construction joint here. So I said here. So ensure setting locations are correct. So column reinforcement placed correctly to drawings, and second should anchor are fixed required height well anchored. Ensure tank GI steel plates are available during duly fabricated from workshop. Check proper holes are available if of fixing by fastenings to forms using bolts. Ensure all form sides are fixed with insert plates and inspected. And make sure that tanks or plates should be embedded in concrete. Make sure that all sides of forms are erected after rebar inspections. Having closure of forms and carry out all columns forms operations. Check out concrete pouring levels. Check from supporting arrangements. Make sure a temporary platform is available for casting concrete or pouring concrete. Suggest pour in full height if feasible, and two stages of pour can also be allowed depending on column height limits. I would prefer only one from monolith action point of view. And then we come on to RCC tabletop works. RCC tabletop, as we did before, discussed before, it's a frame on which your machine, your equipment directly rests, connected by bolts and bolts through plate. This is, you can say, actually complicated item which does not guarantee any part or declare any part. Now this column and this tabletop are actually main members which directly receive forces from machine, stationary forces or dynamic forces. These columns must have that capacity that these can take dynamic stresses, compressive stresses and minuscule stresses. These stresses must be shared by these columns first after having handled by beam or frame. Construction requires, as we have done in our columns, inserts on both sides, not on all sides, on both sides of this flow of water from that portion. This must reach, which is treatment plant, but unfortunately it's not coming. Maybe it's directly placed somewhere. Sometimes they take through these plants. I'm not sure about that. So much is have safety, keep them safe. Want to die, check them with psychological doctor and let him write a report. So what it says now, let me read this frame which is actually, make sure axis of rotation of machine, you should know, because that requires balancing of this machine. There should be no outright action on this machine because there's a system balancing already within machine. How it should be cited, it's first that item, and if you don't have item, I cannot say that what you think. In that is not only India, also thinks all time. Then you say make sure of axis of rotation and ensure grids in both directions are indicated on drawing. Ensure that sharp drawings produced and approved. And check whether or not a tabletop is to be produced by one casting. This is very important point, as I discovered in one drawing long back that they had given two construction joints for the small tabletop, and I did not prefer that from working point of view. Otherwise, technically also, it's the design also is not preferred like that. But somebody wrote that, so later on I clarified this. Actually, like as if they are the community of sin, they come in my sin. Then, if both axes are wrong, You must be sure about that load where it's going. Shop drawings you have approved. Shop drawings are required because of coordination and various connections of joints and forces coming from above, from below. Then tabletop we produce in one casting, that's most important. Don't take many castings. And have a discussion with the responsible responsible authority of this, Then shop drawings produce are not tabletop is produced by one casting, and beam of top area are quite deep, and construction joint shall cause practical problems. Had been shown a heavy discussion with government responsible authority in this regard. According to engineering requirement, pouring is applicable. One go pouring is appreciable because this is benevolent, or this is, you can say, that's a quality work. Now I'll go further on this. This is, I think, you got what I'm saying. Check column cluster joints are well scalpeled. Check columns are rightly marked with datum line. Check formwork is completely erected. Ensure fitness of formwork, preferably by formwork manufacturer expert. Check all the access scaffolding is installed for ease of working, and check setting out for profile on forms of slabs, and check all the beams are correctly marked, or correctly marked. Then check all block outs are rightly inspected. Ensure rebars are delivered duly fabricated from workshop or yard. Ensure that delivered draft So make sure rebar arrangement of placing is rightly followed without causing any complication. Check, so make sure, keep close watch on work since rebars on such works are complicated in designs. Make sure rebar arrangement of placing is rightly followed. Without causing any complication. Check all preparatory works in all respects. Make sure cathodic protection arrangements are rightly installed. Make sure level of top of concrete are seen. It's significant to note that level scheduled level should be within all level limits, as space between top of concrete and preparatory works require detailed checking horizontally as well as vertically. All levels of defined inserts to be checked and accurately done. Plan about methods of pouring, as pouring requires a good thought out sequence, having inspections of all items involved. That's what you have to do for purpose of the preparation. Of course, quantity is not that small as compared to columns and foundation, yet it is something. And this is not very fast pouring, this is little slow pouring because of beams. There are chances that beams may bulge if you rapidly pour it. So you have to do gradually moving on this work. And remember, this work may cost you billions, if not thousands. That's why I'm saying very important point here. You are these beams of that over there. Now onwards, I say Mr. Manish Kumar, you're welcome. Mr. Mantab joined. Okay, let me also keep their names. Otherwise, sometime this switch back. So I keep their names. They are still right. Pouring of these beams, as you know, these are thin elements, maybe 20 centimeter, maybe 30 centimeter, not like 80 or 1 meter. You must have provided bolts in them, all type bolts, which is of course must. Gradually you have to pour it, and on this you have to provide normal curing as you do. And if you better do your curing upon curing after complete vibration is done, then and these are beams, so you accept all. There's no question of any curing, only means self-cleaning but not clear. Just say 1 meter deep, 1.5 meter deep, or 2 meter deep beam, thin beams design could be, or 4-wheel design could be, or 0.5 meter could be. And, you should do it thoroughly, without worry, because you prepare a lot for that. I don't worry. These three structure, 3 tiled, tabletop, columns and footings is something very extraordinary. I have shown you how these are located around. Now, you have done foundation, you have done columns, and you have done tabletop. Maybe you have removed sets of columns, and if not removed, then continue them until these are required on site. Just keep top flooded, and you can avoid wastage of water. Same thing is for foundation, where I said that should be done thermally. People don't understand all this. The only voice is here. Now, if you remove foundation shutters and you think that it's for 7 days or 10 days, you remove and just see status of its concrete. If you think this concrete is fine, it's bad, it's soft. Now, if you remove your shutters, as you say 2-3 days before, I would prefer actually more time for shutters of these foundations. Or if you don't have water, you just remove these shutters gradually, don't make them. But on further movement of road, on the road you'll find various other activities which are not digested by you. As I said, curing is very important for this block. If you understand, then otherwise you cannot understand. I can't explain. Even if I am there, if you are not able to say something, all right. Let's then say about this columns. If you remove shutters in 48 hours, for some reason, you have to spray water on the surface. Water on surface, all sides of these columns, smooth water flow around and immediately apply curing compound. That's one part. Or if you want to know how to apply water, then the curing compound can't afford that. You have to apply saturated solution around and on that polythene sheet and keep white tape fast, whatever branch of this, and that can be called my no from zero. Other item. Other item is, you will see, sometimes I feel is whether to talk something or no, because there are many items which are in continuity. We have done this column, tabletop also, same curing you have to do, with no specific curing on that. This is ordinary. When we come to RCC swimming pool swaps. Have you ever heard of that? I have given in last many videos. RCC swimming pool swap. That's item. It's very interesting item. If you have seen this or not, I don't know, but this is a reasonable item which an engineer must understand. And pool size I'm taking is 25 meters in 13 meters. 13, not 30. This is size for competition pools, 25 meters to 30 meters. Say, and is meant for local competition, and shallow and depth. Shallow and depth is 1 meter, shallow and depth, and deep and depth is 2.5 meters. This is swimming pool, not just enjoying pool. Depth is given shallow and deep ends. And this RCC base and RCC walls and construction joints are indicated on plan itself. It must, because of walls, RCC base and walls are here, so because of walls construction joints are a mandate. Open surface drains are there. Open surface drains, what is that? Will explain. Open surface drains are there, and then voluntary. Alright, now let's move further. Construction joint, open surface drains, submerged pool slides, internal tiling on shelf surface, pool carpet, changing room, pergola, etc. etc. are there. And if you just want to see sketch of that, I'll try to show you those in my hands. I'll refer to book. If I can find, show you, I'll say okay next time. It must be there somewhere. I remember because if I can find a JK, I will show you. Otherwise, I post this because turning pages also takes a lot of time, and I don't remember which page it was. Let us see if I can. water tank, but this is not that one. We have any this, but any this, come on. Maybe I can like that. I got it. So I got it like that. So this is that. I have to show this like this. Just like this. It's isometric of swimming pool. Right side is low, shallow, and left is deep end with ladder, and the service is shown, balance tank shown, balance tank on left side, and also this surface drains here, surface drains shown, connecting to ring main, and this specific fabrications and castings of these drains, and this is how this works, how grading is there on drains and how drains work. Water from pool goes through drains and from there goes down and then recirculates in acidic RCC valves. This is that, and if you see here, this electrical light in that underwater electrical light. This is coordinated drawing of RCC, and you see plan of this. There's a plan, straight plan of swimming pool. There's a straight plan. Pergola is shown, plan is shown, services are shown. This is that one, And if you want to see that one more sketch of this, so that you are really clear. And if you see structurally, it's that this is plan here, the other plan, all this plan I'll show. And you see there are water bars fixed with the water bars here in RCC for keeping watertight structure. And this is structural detail of it. Let's say balance tank, it is in continuation down on deep end and balance tank which goes to shallow end this way and this is right. And these are sketches only that I have for this for time being. And we must construct joint is shown here in this plan. If you just note this down, in the same plan CJ is written. The design itself is here, the construction joint, the break wall there. You want 2 CJ on top and 2 CJ on bottom is the 4 CJ main wall and 2 CJ on short walls. So 4 into 6 construction joints there. You have to construct it accordingly, no other way. That's what's given here. what I'm trying to say is that this is, I have somewhere written these activities. This is the activities. I'll see, I can get that. It's Mr. Jitu, I think. I miss his name. I want to record names of these people. If they are interested people, they can contact me. This is things. Well, I will all request you people, if you are interested in these questions, you write to me or you can ask me online regarding subject or regarding something. You can talk to me just like other people disturb you. If you ask questions, I will be glad. And if you can raise later on, I can answer later on. No problem to that. If you can call now, you can call now since I'm here. So what I say in the swimming plan, what activities I have written, what's in detailed activity I'll talk to you. This is now checklist for below ground RCC swimming pools, as I said, dimension of 25-13 and deep 1 meter deep and 2.5 meter deep, and 6 constituent joints and RC walls, open surface drains, submerged pool lights, internal tiling on shelf surface, we call shelf, it is internal shelf we call it, and pool carpet, changing room pergola, and these are structural items. And defined is base slab. This is base slab, structural slab. Check setting out of pool coordinates and then alignment. It's natural to do. Check work area. Working area means for excavation as well as no clash situation with other required buildings such as water supply and service areas. If there is someone, I see is there Sunil Kumar, what for he wants, I don't know. Someone else is, you can't understand. This, then you need this one, and after that, you know this. Check safety proposed, check working areas means for excavation. Check working areas for excavation. Yes, Mr. What do you want? क्या बोलना है भाई, बोलिए क्या बोलना चाहते हैं भाई? What do you want? अरे कुछ बोलना है तो बात करो यार, कुछ बोलना है? फालतू है यार, क्या मत उठ के गधे लोग, गधे हैं, पैदा ही गधे में लगता है। खाना का डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं आके यार, क्या बोल रहा था मैं? Check working area meant for excavation as well as no clash situation with others required buildings such as water supply and service area. Check safety proposals to be installed during excavation, because this is deep excavation. 1 meter one side structure is about 1.45 meter excavation should be. On other side 2 meter difference, 2.5 something should be, because of RCC base, and then further down probably soil improvement is required, I can say, and so that safety proposals are to be considered. And check coordinated services drawings duly approved. So you have to do the service drawing first. I have written check, but this check doesn't mean somebody else will check. You shall check. So coordinated drawings, coordinated service drawings also you have to prepare, because nobody else will prepare. You are there to prepare. If you are a brilliant one, if you are coordinating and you want to convert yourself from civil engineer, coordination is a much higher position. And check internal tiling, location setting out of isometric view probably, and check location of open drains around pool for overflowing water. Check process plants, room drawings and locations. Check all coordination for all such. Check all coordination for all such minor structures for services meeting purpose. Check all details duly coordinated with balanced tank, monolithic with shelf. Check balanced tank drawings are ready and coordinate these with other drawings. Make sure slope portion between shallow and deep end is done rightly, and make sure that all forms and rebar fabricated reinforcing bar fabricated are on available or are being fabricated according to given details. Check that excavations being progressed in line with setting out and under constant concrete protection is carried out to specifications compliance. Make sure water bars are available for construction joints for both vertical and horizontal locations. Make sure that these joints are correctly welded by welded by required tool to suit site dimensions. Check if any underground services, check if some underground services, if so required, under compelling situation, otherwise not preferred as such, if not services are there. Check all raft rebars to be true to design requirements. Check all side forms are erected rightly. Make sure slope portion between shallow and deep end is done rightly. Check welded piece of PVC CJ ring. CJ ring is available, and then fixed correctly, being kept half in raft and half in wall. CJ ring means construction joint is PVC flexible one. Check for electrical first fix conduits are inserted to shop drawings within raft work. Plan for raft pouring in one go, one time. Check for construction joint CJ are correctly produced rough during construction concrete pour. Now this was about base, which is also very important. Which is important means you have to decide everything while you work for base slab. You have to decide all coordinations, connections, etc. Then come wall. Walls means there are two structures, but three structures: base, wall, and balance tank. Walls, now proceed for curing of base walls. Processed for curing of base slab as well as for wall forms erection. Check that walls are carried out in alternate base of CJs. Alternate base. Now check that walls are carried out in alternate base of construction joint. Check for walls reinforcement being done correctly. Then check for walls reinforcement being done correctly. Check for all services first fix are inserted for walls. Then no problem. Check for all services first fix are interested for walls. Check vertical joints CJ bars are inserted correctly. Check all walls are closed by forms after inspections, and check bolts and supports would not slacken during pour. Slacken or bolts and slacken. Then check all walls are closed by forms after inspections. Check that bolts and supports would not slacken during pour. Check working platform are ready and erected. Check pour being done rightly. Check all valves are completed. Check curing procedures are complied with. These are only checks. Balance tanks is there, which is also one line statement. Make sure base slab of balance tank, walls of balance tank and roof of balance tanks are carried out according to drawings with all inserts placed in. All repetitive operations check are required as defined on other check lists. This is checklist of your swimming pool that we talked of. This is very small, but explanation is a big one, and I like to make that explanation, maybe not exactly. I'll see if I can make it now. There's a detailed explanation. There's a detailed one is somewhere. If I check this, wait a minute, let me check this one. Long before I give that, I don't know which video is that. You may be confused to find that, but where I think I can just recite from here. Some activities I have written in this book. Some activities of. Let me see which page is that. This book is very old now, and pages are very, very different. Don't know how to handle this half dog. These are actually detailed activities given a particular swimming pool. I'm trying to find out whether I'll forget in next talk. I just want to share with you what is there. And this is an interesting one because I did what I wrote, or I wrote what I did on site. Yes, I got it here. Now this is in this book, page 109. It says swimming operations activities for construction of a swimming pool below ground. Same thing as I'm talking. This is a little lengthy one, and if I read for you in 10-15 minutes, I think it will serve purpose. Before proceeding for construction, make sure that all working and coordinated drawings have been approved and ready for use. Reference general informations, whatever. I'm not giving name who is this person, leave it. Marking, setting out of center line and establishing a benchmark and approval of setting out works details on ground by resident engineer. Actually, this is that, So this is the starting page of this. I'll read again. Marking or setting out of central line, establishing a benchmark and approval of setting out works details on ground by resident engineers. Excavation of required area, including work area, approximately 1.5 to 2 meters around pool area, depending on nature of soil to be excavated. That's rock soil, soft soil, hard soil, etc. Keep a control on levels of formations constantly and reach nearer levels. Probably this massive earthwork in excavation should have been carried out by use of earth moving machines, except last or termination part of earthwork or level, last level, which shall usually be dressed manually according to dictation of formation level, or what formation level mandates or tells you that prepare profile surface for laying blinding concrete on compacted earth. Let it be approved, inspected and compacted base be inspected and approval obtained. And after that, this is I think 1 or 2 main pages, 2 pages or 3 pages, I don't know. Yeah, 2 or 3 pages are there. So this is 1 page, and this one, I don't know, it's continuation of that one. It's very small letters, of course, fonts are small. So I'll speak now. It's getting tear, this is getting tear. Now it says item 6, fix elevational marks. Fix elevational marks for reaching top of blinding concrete. Blind surface to obtain a smooth surface of topping. Mark profile of raft and all central grid lines so that marks are visible as projected. Mark profile of raft and central grid lines so that marks are visible as projected. Having raft been poured, references transferred for work feasibility. Check details as supplied in shop working drawing by swimming pool supplier or installer, whether intake water pipe system be laid in portion below raft or be laid in raft structure, as generally are laid in raft. Now should system be laid in raft structure, proceed for waterproofing system as specified. That's spreading bitumen membrane layers duly overlapped and make surface durable, and let that be inspected and approved by resident engineer, and then proceed for applying waterproofing protection layer membrane coat. That's a coat of 25 mm thick cement mortar in ratio 1:3, so that bitumen treatment system to be protected during preparatory and pouring operations on RCC slab. Still one para has gone only. I think only one para has gone. Let plumbing guys start laying water supply pipes and fixings of water. Let plumbing guys start laying water supply pipes and fixing of water disposal traps per details provided in approved working drawings or shop drawings, and position on site to approved coordinated drawing, and tests conducted accordingly to specifications and approval obtained. Reinforcement to be laid for raft must be cut and bent according to structural drawing, without damaging pipes of water supply during placement of reinforcement. Care must be exercised for preventing depositioning of pipe, either by fixing pipe post, installing and reinforcement or before commencement. Simultaneously, forms of rafts, periphery and wall starters be carried out, and water bars are specified in ingenious details. And now these people quite don't have helpless people unnecessarily. I'm sitting for I disturb you personally. What to say? Oh, I think I'll speak this tomorrow. I disturb for that's it. Mr. Bhajan Chandra, Mr. Bhajan Chandra, Mr. Bhajan Chandra, you are welcome, Mr. Bhajan Chandra, right here. Otherwise, this is Miss Away. Well, swimming pool is continued. I will take up because it's already around 3 hours. I'll continue because yesterday my laptop started getting very hot when the temperature increase, and I don't want to disturb when the market is closed. Maybe some fan problem in this, so I can't do this. I will not pull it very long. It's getting hotter now, so I have to be careful. Now, this is swimming pool. I'm just telling you which will be the next activity. I'll complete later tomorrow. And next activity is shooting range or firing range. That's about 300 meters distance. You have to shoot someone. That firing range type. This was done in army base in long back. So that's I'll talk, and after that I'll talk. This is footing. List of checklist of footing, foundation footings, concrete pour. That's that will take this means item number 28. I'll see what is there, and there's adequate number of foundations in Mango, so I will see what to do with that. After that, the stop columns means stop columns in combination preparatory works and concrete pour. There's a combination of various items. After that means previous items and current items. That will be sorry. Finished just a minute, I think, yeah. So that item will be there. This is stop column concrete pour. There will be grade slab, floating slab at plinth level concrete pour. That's item number 9 already done, but concrete pour inches proposed. We'll see what to be that, delivery about that. That shall be concrete pour, columns concrete pour, specific items they are in RCC walls concrete pour. Combination of items for that means preparatory works and concrete pour are different items, and it will be then lift wall wells concrete pour means wall preparatory works and concrete pour. So this is then it is longitudinal stair concrete pour, then it is concrete pour for suspended slabs, then fed up with these people. So what I'm saying, these items I'm going to take later on, just briefing you what is in memory, because after these items are finished I have to start method statements or facilities issues which are of much significance for practical work. That's a very important one, and this like this another list. Oh, okay. This is another list here. This list says that concrete pour, this is footing blocks, similar items but combination of items are here. How do slab pour, and this how to pour specifically, that is very important. And there are some items like on this footing, as I told you already, there are already done ITPs on them. So these items are here that are only dealt with separately, and then there's a program for I say method statements and facilities, and some very specific program on plans, complexes. I did that myself sometimes decades back. How to do them? That's of course very high profile work. Maybe you guys don't know, but you can only refer to. I'll refer that one, and I will also try to include. I have also previously talked of economy related to earth. Economy is not in a sense that economy you are thinking. It's not professional economy, but economy means actual economy, where it comes from. That's would be a point. Real point means economy from where it comes. That's how we get thing from where we get it. And what is do understand that they are economists, they know what economy is, but what is true wealth in wealth of is available in us, which relates to actual economy. That's important in those videos already there, but I'll try to re-release them again. And there are like that many more items, like internal budget item of Constitution of India, which maybe you are not clear of. I tried all like means our related subject that relate to us, and most important is that FIDIC law of contract, which everybody is dealt with but doesn't understand that. That's a part of management. I will take that also after this means what is FIDIC, how, what are contracts. If you are in construction line, you should understand that it's not in hand of one party, it's hand of both parties, hands of both parties, how to tackle with each other, how to deal with each other person, each other party. Conditions are there, your specific conditions. Are those conditions reasonable? That also we have to discuss when discuss a FIDIC plan. And that's a very complicated one, but complicated or not, that's not consideration here. The view is that it should be, even if it's complicated, you cannot run it like that. It's complicated. It will come to you. You have to handle that. Then I already given some talks on English translation from Hindi. It's very elementary, but it's very important. I find people are not very good in communication. That's basic requirement of management. If you see management knowledge areas, you will find communication is also very important part. Resources are there, risks are there, everything is there, safety is there, quality is there, planning is there, and valuation, everything is there. All of question comes in when your communication is raised, means you are unable to write something that's important to be written, and you have to ask someone, please make for me this one, and maybe this advocate one, he charges a lot for that one. That's very important here. What here engineers should learn about. What is India engineering, what other engineers now. That's very important part of our future discussion. So like I'm trying to tell you means what is I think should be taken up in future, because this management we have taken so far, talked so far, is very elementary. This is indicative in sense. I'm just trying back to explain the fundamentals of management here. It's nothing mathematics, it's not physics, chemistry, or it's not applied mechanics, or structural design, it's nothing like that. This is general understanding how to manage. Because what we understand by management terms, we are sure management, you are talking, I do nothing right. When I talk to engineers, they say like, why are you talking like that? They are not coming from the skies. They are taught only theoretical. They don't have an experience. They don't understand what's work. You are getting fear unnecessarily managing yourself. You are managers. You are not having term of management, but you are working on that. You are managing money of your site. You are managing workers. You are managing machines. You are managing material. You are managing consultant. You are managing contractor. You are managing technical work. You are managing. What is your managing? Tell me. What you manage? When your items come, you check them, you receive them, you make orders for items. So it's called procurement. Procurement but ultimately depend upon you. You have to provide them input. So that means you are dealing directly or indirectly with what management is otherwise. What they do. Who say I manage in general management MBA, I'm human resources MBA. What human resources does general? What actually I say I've seen them what they do. They just take an interview of someone, and if you ask X amount, doesn't know X minus this I will do. This is we can do that. What's wrong with that? This is negotiation bargain. But what person knows that's important? You are interviewing some person. You should kind of a question you have to ask. It's up to you. If suppose you are given, okay, you enter this guy, special interview. You must have some background of that. That background you are not having. You are manager, you are graduate manager. Either you are being an engineer, worked on site, fine, I do that. you are not experienced in science, coming for something which you do not know, it means you are in misdirection, wrong direction. It is technical engineering work. It's not administrative work. It's not bureaucracy. It's work in dust, work in water, work everywhere we do. Our problems are different. We have seen labor working together. They are fighting together. We have seen their problems with machine. Machines are not working. They are out of order, of something. As similarly, our vendors are supplying material in time. They are supplying quality. Who shall solve these? We have to solve these. So we should keep in mind that we are born managers. Born managers means you are of course qualified engineer, but what qualification? You are having technical qualification. But don't forget you have some qualification other than that also if you have studied economics. If you did not study, that's your problem. You all study subjects, economics, macroeconomics, microeconomics. Of course that's not detailed study. And if you miss that, I can't help you. You can read it now. You must have some knowledge of civics because you are related to workers. They are part of society. Social knowledge you should have. Because all are part of society. You should know how workers feel versus psychology, how they deal, what they expect you to do for them. That is all human resources management. It's not only deciding salary. That's not management alone. Understanding their psychology. Understanding what operator thinks of a machine. What he expects. If I work 2 hours a day or 4 hours a day, I must be paid overtime. And if you work that much within 8 hours, then I should also be paid overtime. That is mindset of everybody. If you can understand why you don't need management degree. That degree is not going to teach you something. This teaches you what you are copied and they enhance that. So there are many points that you should understand regarding management. Management is all single-handed. It's based on with managerial hands. And if engineers keep their heart down, oh, I'm not this, I don't get this, don't keep heart down. Heart down means, of course you can say I'm employed, that I understand. But hands down is no solution in engineering at least. That's very important. That's the reason I am bringing back on table management values. What I could understand in my career and what I could understand what those people know who claim to be managers. Again, I say, which I understood, an engineer can be a manager, but a manager without engineering knowledge, engineering degree cannot be an engineer. This is resultant, this is final conclusion that I could understand. If your mind developed one due to having knowledge of engineering or degree or whatever you have, that is more than sufficient to handle management. Only hesitation comes for, in many cases, that we are not engineers. Then what you are? What you are. That what you are, you have to answer. If you are not managing, you are managing workers, you are managing machines, you are managing material, you are managing pouring, you are managing consultant, you are managing vendors, you are managing your site. What else do you want? And sometimes you are managing your administration as well. If you don't support, you are alone, you manage yourself. You can't forget your workers. If there's a shortage of some staff, then you do for that, or you extract them to be temporary staff. Just keep in mind, first you are manager, then you are engineer. If you don't think that way, you have no proper feedback from your university, or you miss something in your study, go back and read from them what they think about management. This is much left. It's very important. You should have complete knowledge of this. And I have been asked many times in interviews, like, show me which very good degree you have, which valid degree you have. I may always say, you want to see my degree or you want to see my answer? You first decide. If you want to say degree, I am not interested in this interview. If you raise questions about manager, I am not answering, okay, fine, you can reject me. But you ask me first what you want to know. A person who works whole life on sites, he doesn't know management. A person who works for he studies for 2 or 3 years, 1.5 years, he is a manager. This is conception itself wrong. It is work that teaches you. It's not year. If you work in field, you are going to see many documents. Basic documents, design documents, feed documents, preliminary documents, which gives you input of understanding this field, that field. I don't find any problem. If I go to read statute books or laws, you understand meaning of that. There's no mathematics in that. That's no subject I could not study. Even if they write trigonometry, I would understand, but unfortunately it's only in English. So, I have completely different approach. I say your management is controlled by all knowledge areas, that is scope of work, you say, scope of work, time of work, cost of work, quality of work, safety of work, resources of work, and whatever else is there, risks, funding, who are shareholders, all that is important, but not one. That point you must understand as better, sooner as better. This is very important talk regarding management. Don't just think only technical work is enough. Yes, your bending moment is fine, your shear force is fine, deflection is fine, sway is fine, everything fine, bearing, all those technical parameters are respectable. But you do not need them in your work all time. Yes, designing time you need them, but on site you don't need them. Yes, there's some investigation, there's some load testing or something, you need them. They are your friends, you are bound by that. But daily work you do, that is management. You are raising quantity of material to be procurement. You are writing quotations, applications, or whatever, you are sending messages for quotation, writing them. You are writing method statements, you are submitting material for approval, you are taking permissions, inspections, and you are going here and there, here and there. Is it enough criteria? I see. Now with this I see knowledge areas, for example I said scope of work, which is very important. You know, all contexts are, in beginnings all contexts which say this is your scope of work, and this scope of work is this scope of work, means this scope of work, no extra work. Because you quote for that. There is a question of rights, means why do you ask more than this? If you ask more than you have to pay the hour. Similarly, risk factors are there, safety factors are there. What risk you have to see that when you make charter of this charter means a permanent document or the guiding document of this Iceland, you have to say that these are my mistakes, these are my mistakes, these are my risks. Allah hold them. Then you can say safety issues come in as HSC and USSS. Okay. Now I see we should move forward on this second time of time. I was thinking something else. It's already 3 hours, 9 minutes. I think we should not forward. It's quite little. I'll take those factors later on. It's like risk and safety, or risk and work, and making decisions on technical issues, and controlling budget, etc. All these, it's a very important point. And then it is Kumar Nagara, and this is, I think, beyond all of welcoming. This is here. Let's see here. Alright. This knowledge areas will take this. I already discussed last time. Maybe you're not there. These are very important factors. There was three main part of quality, time, and cost, which rules project we take, which forces you to take decisions about. And then other are fluctuating elements, as we shown, including histograms of human resources, and histograms of machines and equipments and all that, which decide time scale, quantification of that. That's all is there. I'm just closing it down, and I think we should continue it. And before that, actually, I made another video. If you go and see that without often regarding this corona COVID problem, I just tried to communicate my thought on that, how to handle this, because this is 90 degrees death point here for corona, and 90 degrees temperature means all the world is not more than 50 degrees. Even if you go to Baghdad, Iraq, you will not find more than 50 to 55 degrees Celsius temperature. So question is, this cannot be killed, this cannot be defeated by you until it is burnt or boiled in temperature of 100 degrees. And that's the beauty of this. And it's so powerful. I cannot tolerate more than 50 degrees Celsius. Maybe you cannot tolerate more than 50. There may be some people who can tolerate, but this is so dynamically strong creature created by Almighty that it's a challenge to humanity, and it's not going to be defeated so easily as people are thinking. This lockdown is just a lock, nothing else. It shall not throw it away. You are using AC, don't forget. AC is very different. It can pull this from a stationary position in AOA states for a few hours, and your pulling power, the suction power in AC is very strong. Even if it's a split unit or wall mounted, it's the central pull out presence of that into your unit, into your refrigerator, then spread into home, which can cause big multiplication of these cases. So we have to think again. We are using car, we are using air conditioner at home, in office, as well as a car. So we all subject to the action of the adverse action of this illicit power. So we have to think as engineers, means what should be done. I just propose this. We have to raise heat of 3-meter height environment. Just think the environment is a 3 meters volume of environment on all roads and streets. If heated to a temperature of 120 degrees or 30 degrees for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes or half an hour, and if this is available, and those patients can also stand in the temperature for a couple of minutes, the bodies can be heated up, and this heat can transmit into that relevant portion where these cells contain that corona. We can kill that, and that is very significant point. But question is how to manage. We celebrate Holi in our country. Holi means not Gulal Holi or that. I'm talking of fired pipe of Holi. We do that at corners in streets somewhere, particularly north part of our country. That type of pyres can be placed at many locations, and simultaneously kindle fire and temperature increase for about half an hour, which can be up to 150 or 20 degrees Celsius, and that may be a costly solution to get rid of this, or else this is not going to run away from here even in 5 years. And already scientists are saying that up to 2025, 24, we are because in 2 years this year already means it doesn't help you. Distance looks also I think all imaginary means basically there's no solution yet, but solution will be found on only Humility can find solutions. Sometimes common sense can find solution, and common sense is very much developed if you want that. And I think we should do something. You can watch that video I placed somewhere, and I'll take your leave now, your friends, because I'm not going to talk more because of my laptop is getting heated up. And until the shop's open, I change fan of this. I'll try to reduce duration of this because yesterday it was blocked and there was a message that this is complete black screen, and it said your system will damage, it's heated up, your fan is not properly working, and market is closed. I don't want to take risk. So even if a little time is better than stopping everything. Thank you very much, and I close it now. And